Hello and welcome back to the When You're podcast, the podcast for when you're doing anything. Today we're talking about when you're trying to survive your allergies. I mean, now that it's springtime and all the flowers start blooming and there's pollen in the air, I mean, it was all fun and games when it was raining, you know what I mean? I really like the rain, you know, the clouds in the sky. It's kind of nice, you know, a little bit peaceful. And then when you go to sleep, it's just like a little pitter-patter outside. It's so relaxing. It's so soothing. But now that the sun's out, I mean, it's like I can't catch a break every single day. I can't make it through the day, you know what I'm talking about? And I take my medicine. I take my allergy medicine, you know, and I just have basic allergies. I don't have like any extra allergies or anything like that. So it's just like, I remember one day I like landed in the grass, like I fell down on the grass for like 2 seconds. I fell down and I got back up and I just got I was like so itchy for the rest of the day. I was like, man, why did I have to fall on the ground? I didn't need that, you know? So it's kind of like, okay, so I'm just going to talk about like the different symptoms of like basic allergies. So sneezing, you know how sometimes when you're, like I don't really sneeze all that much. And when I do, it's like maybe one or two, you know what I mean? Like quick ones, like achoo, you know what I mean? And then you kind of like, you walk away, you know, it's like you got it off, right? Now that it's like springtime, once I start sneezing, it's like the floodgates open. It's like I can't stop. It's just like one after another, one after another, one after another. And then like you think you're done, and then like 2 minutes will go by, and then you sneeze again and again and again, and you're just like, you know, like when will it end? You know what I mean? And then you just keep over and over and over again, and you just like you can't. At that point, you're just like, man, what can I do? You try to like stop it? Have you ever tried to stop a sneeze? You ever try to stop a sneeze? I mean, I've only ever been successful like maybe, maybe on like, I can count on one hand maybe the amount of times I've been successful at stopping a sneeze. And so when that happens, I mean, it's not even about like, when I stop the sneeze, it's kind of not, I mean, I would have rather just sneezed, you know what I mean? So that's why I don't try to do it that much. Just when I finally sneeze, I just feel like it doesn't feel like I should have sneezed, you know what I mean? Like there's certain moments in your life where you're like, I shouldn't have sneezed like right now. Like those random sneezes that just come out of nowhere. You're just like, why did that even need to happen? Like, I don't even understand that whole process that just went down. And that's how I feel right now during allergy season. Like, I know there's pollen in the air, there's other stuff going on, but like, I was just looking around me and I was like, I'm in perfect health. Like, I'm in like the best condition in the world. Like, how is this happening? Like, I was fine. You know, when you're like, I was fine 2 seconds ago. Like, 20 minutes ago, I wasn't even, you know how sometimes when you think about blinking, you'll be like, whoa, I like all of a sudden thought about it. And now it's like, I don't know how to like let go of it. But now, the same thing goes for my sneezing is like, I wasn't, or whenever I get like allergies, it's like I was healthy 2 minutes ago. I was healthy 20 minutes ago. I was doing just fine. I was living my life. I was being okay. Now all of a sudden it's like I have this thing all of a sudden that's just like, how do I get rid of it? How can I get rid of that feeling? And so I just, and it's not like I sneeze all that much now, no, but more so it's like once I do, it just goes and goes and goes. And over again, I just think to myself, like, if there was ever a moment or if there was ever a time when I wanted to stop sneezing, it's just like whenever I go outside, mostly. Like when I'm inside, like I can suffer through it, but when I'm out and about and I'm doing stuff and I like catch a sneeze and like I have to like move around and do other things, it's kind of annoying. Or when I'm driving, I remember I was driving and I had to like go at a. I'm trying to think if it was like a stop. It was a stop sign. I had stopped at a stop sign and I needed to keep going, but like I kept on sneezing and sneezing and sneezing. So I was like, okay, let me just stop sneezing real quick and then I'll hit the step on the gas. But I was just like, and it was also that weird moment because like every time I sneeze, I have to like close my eyes and I blink, and then I'm like, what if for some unknown reason the car in front of me like stops, like legit does a full complete stop right in front of me and I can't, and I don't notice it in time and I crash into this, this lady, this old woman or whoever is driving ahead of me. And I was just like, I gotta figure out my allergies. I gotta take my medicine. I gotta do something to deal with it. And the other one that's so annoying is the running nose. Like I'll be out. I mean, even now, I'll be out and about, and all of a sudden, my nose will start to like, it'll one nostril will be like runny, and I try to wear my mask as much as possible outside still, just in case, you never know. So I like to wear my mask, and it'll just start like running as much as possible. I'm like, oh my, I'm like, this is, I need to like wipe it away. I need to blow my nose. I need to do something, and I'm just like, but there's no bathroom, there's no tissue, there's nothing I can do right now. So I try to like suffer through it, but then all I end up doing is just like sniffing a lot, and I'm just kind of like all over the place, and I'm just like, this is not good, this is not sustainable, this is pretty gross. So I was just like, I don't want to go through that, but what can I do? It's just it's running. And for some reason it's only it happens out of nowhere. I guess it mainly happens in the morning. Like you can pretty much tell how the days are going to go based on like how you wake up in the morning. So when I wake up in the morning and I feel okay, for the most part, it's pretty well understood early on how the days are going to go. If I have a stuffy or runny nose in the morning, then it's probably going to be that kind of a day. But if I'm particularly healthy and I have no congestion in my nose, in my airways, then if something does happen, then it's kind of like, why is this going on? It's a little bit weird. It's a shift that's not needed. It's not wanted. And so I'm just kind of like a bit confused. I'm like, why is this happening all of a sudden? Like I thought it was healthy. I'm completely fine, and everything was supposed to be all good. But I mean, what can you really do in that moment? What can you really do? There's no undeniable cure for it, I guess, for that moment, I suppose. Of course, you're supposed to take your allergy medicine and whatnot, but I'm just speaking in general here. So that there are those kind of like regular everyday allergies where you go outside and you just like you get, oh my gosh, my eyes itch a lot, or they get like a little watery. And I can't, because sometimes it'll be like, maybe I'm just sad, like I'll just be like, man, I'm tired, I'll try to like decide between the two. I'll be like, man, I probably listened to too much sad music, or that sad song I shouldn't be listening to, or whatever, the one that gets you in your feels and you're just kind of like, man, that one hits home for me, right? And then you're kind of like, am I just sad? Am I just like feeling a little down on myself today or whatever? But then you're kind of like, no, I'm good. What's going on? And then your eyes start itching and you're like, ugh. Maybe I'm just tired, maybe I didn't sleep well last night, or maybe I just feel this overwhelming sense of like I have to go to sleep. But then you just like, you realize, oh, I just have for no unknown reason, my eyes are just itching, and it bothers me so much because it's like I'll be rubbing one eye and then I'll look in the mirror and I'll feel like I just shrunk one of my eyes, and I'll be like, what? It'll look completely weird. You know what I'm talking about, hopefully, but I just feel all the time like this is wrong, and I shouldn't be feeling like this, but it happens to the best of us. So anyways, there are those kind of allergies, and I don't have any like food allergies or anything like that, but other people do. So like the biggest, most common one is shellfish. Now, I think that's a pretty livable, yeah, like nobody's gonna be like, oh, he has a shellfish allergy. Like, I've never seen anybody like be down in the dumps that are like, I have a shellfish allergy. I can't enjoy that. It's like, yeah, I have a shellfish allergy and I'll survive. You know, nobody's like beating themselves up for having that kind of allergy. But an allergy that does affect a lot of people is peanuts. So peanut allergies, that's where I kind of get like, oh, you can't. That'll be like, oh darn, dude, like I just made this wonderful peanut butter sandwich or whatever, and he can't enjoy that, you know. It's like, darn, bro, like that's rough, you know. Or they have to constantly be on the lookout for like, does it have peanuts in it? Does it have peanuts in it? What kind of did you put anything like peanut related into it or whatever? And they're just like, yeah, sorry. And they're just like, yeah, I can't have any. And I feel like in those instances, I'm just kind of like, oh man, dude, it's such a bummer sometimes when you I mean, it's not like a end of the world kind of a thing, but it's more so of like darn, there are simple pleasures out there that are unenjoyable to that person, and it's like, I wish there was a moment that I could take that back, or I could kind of be like, actually, you know what, let's just die, you know, like just eat it, you know, just enjoy this for now, you know, have some trail mix, eat some peanut butter, you know, do whatever you want, dip that chicken in peanut oil, do whatever you want to do, you know what I mean? You only live once, and you gotta take risks now while your immune system and your body can handle it, sort of. And also, once you, it reminds me of this movie, Meet the Robinsons. If you haven't seen the movie, great movie, good theme throughout the movie, right? To keep moving forward. Spoilers for Meet the Robinsons if you haven't watched it yet, but maybe I'll talk about that in my next episode. But in the movie, there's a moment where the kid in the movie makes an invention, and it's supposed to like evenly distribute peanut butter and jelly onto like a sandwich, right? And so he makes it, and then he just the machine ends up going haywire, and it starts blasting all over the place. And it gets on this guy, and he starts puffing up like crazy. And I was like, does it really happen that quickly? Does it really go that quick right then and there? Like, he doesn't necessarily eat it. It's just more so like it just touches his skin. And on immediate impact, he's just like, you know, he starts like going crazy, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is horrible. Like I wouldn't want that for anybody, or myself for that matter. But like, they're just kind of like dying, and then the guy's wife stabs him with like with the EpiPen or whatever the allergy pen is, right? She stabs him, and he's just like, you know, he starts going back to normal. He starts like depuffing, and he's like going back to it. Now that's probably over exaggerated, right? It's very over exaggerated in that moment. But I was kind of like, that is wild. That is crazy. And I was just a kid watching that. I was like, peanut allergies are just crazy. I was like, that's one thing I'm glad I don't have that, or I don't have any of those kind of allergies. But the EpiPen is kind of it really is the craziest invention. Like, I have to save your life by stabbing you, right? Like, I have to, in order to save you from your own internal, from your own allergy, to save you from yourself and maybe an external factor, I have to stab you with this life-saving pen. And then once I use it up, I have to get you away from the thing that's killing you. So, like, the guy is allergic to peanuts, right? I have to stab you with the pen, right? Once I stab you with the pen, and it's not like a gentle, like, quick little pinch, right? It's not like a small little, like, poke. It's a full force stab, boom, right into the skin, right into the leg. And you're just like, breathe, take it easy. And then you have to, all right, what was on you? She has to, like, wipe off the peanut butter. She has to get him away from it. She has to, like, walk away from that stuff. And who knows what other kind of, or shellfish, right? So, like, if you have a shellfish allergy or whatnot, and then all of a sudden you get in contact with it, or maybe you eat some, or because sometimes restaurants will use the same oil to cook, like, different foods. So, like, you'll have them make French fries, and they'll make fish and chips per se, right? And that has, like, I don't know, maybe some shellfish in it. I have no idea, right? I'm just saying, for example, they put it in the oil, right? And then they take it out, or fried fish or whatever. Same thing. I don't know what I'm talking about. But they fry it, something fish related or seafood related that has come in contact with shellfish, right? They take it out, and then they make some other guy's food with, like, French fries and stuff. They take it out and you eat it. Then you get an allergic reaction. You're like, I was just, eating French fries. And then you have to go, like, well, they actually also serve other foods that you could have come in contact with. And now you have to be like, oh, no, now I can't. You have to look over your shoulder for every little thing. And that's kind of always a hassle. But back to the EpiPen. In that moment, when I saw her, like, stab him with this pen, in the movie, I was kind of blown away by it. I was like, what is this life-saving pen? How does it function, and what other moments could you do that? Could you stab somebody with an object and save their life? So there was another movie, I think I saw it on, like, on the internet. Somebody, like, stabbed somebody's neck. No, it was in the Kaleidoscope movie. If you haven't seen my Kaleidoscope episode, go watch it. But in Kaleidoscope, the guy stabs himself in the neck. The dude literally jams a hole in his throat, and so that way he can breathe. Because, I don't know, something happened to his throat that left him unable to, like, talk, and that it couldn't really let him breathe or whatever, right? He was just like, I can't breathe, something like that. So he stabs himself in the throat, and then he can breathe. Like, that's the only other time I can think of somebody, like, stabbing themselves to save themselves, just a full stab. Other than that, you have to go to the hospital, right? No, there is another time I remember in this show called, in the Daredevil show. If you haven't seen that, spoilers for that movie. But in the second episode of that movie, he gets very badly injured. Daredevil gets very badly injured in that show. And what happens is his lung kind of collapses on something. I don't know. I think it was filling up with liquid, or, it just... All I could say is that it had something to do with him not being able to breathe. Now she doesn't stab him in the neck like the other guy in the Kaleidoscope show. What ends up happening is she stabs him in the chest, or she pokes him slightly. She does something to him on the chest, and she, boom, pops it, pulls the tube out, and then it like opens up his lungs. It makes him able to breathe again. And I was watching that. I was like, how often do they do that? Or how often can one do that to somebody and it be done safely? Because I could only think of maybe if you're in the ambulance and that happens, they could do it then and there. Otherwise, you're in the hospital, and it's like, I guess they can put a bag over your face or supply you with oxygen. That way you don't have to constantly be out of breath or whatever. Or is that really the easiest method? All I'm trying to say is that when you stab yourself with the EpiPen, there's not a whole lot of other cures, that can save you from stabbing yourself. Now, I know it's the medicine inside of it that, like, saves you, or whatever's in there. I don't know. But you stab yourself, and you just kind of come back to life. You stop the hives, you stop the breathe, maybe you're unable to breathe and whatnot. It helps you out in that manner, So the last thing I kind of want to talk. So those are basic allergies, right? Like, I have basic allergies where it's the flowers and the pollen, and I get I sneeze, I cough, I get some itchy eyes, a runny nose here and there. And then you have the shellfish and the peanut allergies. Those are pretty common stuff. So I want to kind of talk about the uncommon, the rare allergies. So the first one is aquagenic urticaria. Or is it urticaria? Urticaria? Urticaria. Whatever. It's aquagenic urticaria. And that is being allergic to water. I mean, dude, could you imagine? And I'm so sorry if you're allergic to water. I mean, I love water. I drink it every single day. But here's the thing, right? There has to be, how many people were, like, let's go back. Like, let's go way back in the day. Let's say one of our ancestors had this rare condition where he or she was allergic to water, right? And at the time, I'm thinking, like, would it cause, I'm thinking of like hydrophobia, where it's like if you are allergic to water, maybe you develop a fear of water, or like you know what I mean? Like that, maybe that's how that fear gets developed, or maybe that's just a whole unrelated thing. But anyways, let's say you're there back in the day, right? And back when our ancestors were like traveling the world, all they could do was travel on the boat. So imagine being like an explorer, or having to like travel the new land, travel overseas is what I'm trying to say. Travel overseas, and then all of a sudden you come in contact with water, and you're like, you just start going crazy, and everybody's, obviously natural selection takes its turn, but like, that's why some people who never see the water, maybe they develop it over time, right? Because all of these allergies, like shellfish, peanuts, and even basic allergies, right? They're not treatable like they are now. Back in the day, people were dying just from coughs. And they still die from coughs, Obviously, they might go undiagnosed. But back in the day, back when our forefathers were running the country, it was kind of unknown, right? Nothing was known back then. Nobody knew about aquagenic urticaria, and it was so rare. Like, imagine the first person who ever had it, right? That person obviously died. They didn't know what was going on. And you can say that about a lot of people with what's it called? With these kind of allergies, like these very rare allergies, and they don't know what's going on. They just know that whenever they come in contact with water, or maybe they drink water, or they try to take a shower or whatever, it's like it's life-threatening for them. They can't do it, dude. So from all the way back then to now, like, how does it transfer over? How does it develop over time? Is this like I don't know if this is a new allergy. I don't know if this is an allergy that could develop over time or be passed on. All I'm trying to say is when it's that rare and when it's that with something so common, something so important to survival, it's kind of difficult for a doctor to be like, listen, I need you to drink more water. It's like, water's killing me. What do you want from me? It's like, okay, you need to take more shower. You know, you probably stink if you don't, if you can't come in contact with water. Or is there special water you can bathe in? I would imagine. What can you really do in that scenario? You can't drink water. You know, I don't know what that would do to you internally. You can't go swimming. That's not a... You'd have to live somewhere completely dry, right? You'd have to live somewhere near the desert or whatnot. No water guns. I mean, there's any number of things that go wrong in this scenario. And imagine trying to like explain it to people. Like if you came up to me and you said, "Listen, dude, I want to be honest with you," and I'm like, "You know what? You can tell me anything. We're best friends. We're cool. What's up? I'm allergic to water." What? Now that I think about it, I've never seen you drink a cup of water. We can't go to the beach now. Like, do you? I don't know if that would really change my perspective on somebody, but I'm just kind of like, if somebody came up to me and told me that, I'd be like, so I can't, like, what's the deal with that? Like, I can't, we can't, what I'm trying to get at is, like, we can't associate with water in any regard. Like, if I want to splash water on you for some dumb reason or whatever, right? I can't do it. Isn't that a little bit weird? Like a little bit moment where it's like, oh, so if I ever wanted to like push you into a pool, right? I could be killing you in that instance. And you're just kind of like, yeah, that would kill me. And you're just like, oh boy, that is just... Or what if you get a job, right? And you have to like mop? But I guess you're wearing clothes. I don't know what the exact circumstances of this allergy is. I just know that you're allergic to water. And by that definition, it just means you can't eat it, and you can't bathe in it. You can't go swimming. You can't be outside when it rains. Like, you have to be very protective. Like, what happens when you sweat? I imagine... I think you're fine as long as you're not, as long as it's, I don't know. I think that's like a special case. I guess if you're sweating, it's a natural bodily function. It happens. But if it's just like unprocessed tap water or whatever, then yeah, you're probably going to die. And does the EpiPen save you then? Who knows? I have no idea. So, the next rare disease, allergy disease. Is it a disease? It's just an allergy. Okay, anyways. The next rare allergy is dermographism. So, dermographism is when you're allergic to human touch. Now, this one is a little bit difficult. Okay. I equate it to Rogue in X-Men, right? Like, she can't touch anybody because if she does, she will kill them, right? She, like, literally kills people if she touches them or comes into any kind of physical contact. So you just have to, like, avoid her at all cost. And I'm trying to think, dermographism. I mean, you definitely can't hug anybody. Handshakes are a nightmare. I mean, there's so much. Obviously now we live in a time where anything can be not fixed, but we can live with certain things, right? Like, you can live with a peanut allergy today. You know what I mean? You might miss out on a few things. Nothing crazy. Just some peanuts. Who cares? But human touch. Imagine telling that to a kid. Imagine telling somebody just like, hey, listen, we can't hug you or like really show you any kind of physical affection. Like, no hugs, no kisses from mom, no like high fives, no nothing. No like pat on the back. We can't do that. And you're just like, what? Like, I'm untouchable. It feels like that. All of these rare allergies are so sad, bro. They don't offer any way where you can kind of like avoid it, you know, kind of. You can avoid peanuts. You can avoid shellfish. You can avoid, people are allergic to certain pets and animals and stuff. You can kind of like avoid those things. Whereas human touch, like, you're going in for a job interview and you immediately walk in and they're like, great job on the interview, you know, put her there. You know, they reach out their hand for a handshake and you're just like, yeah, I can't. You know, no, thank you. And they think you're being rude and you're just like, shake my hand. Oh, you know that movie, Django, where he's like, shake my hand. Like, in that moment, you have to be like, listen, I can't shake anybody's hand. I have dermographism. That could be a great way to get out of doing any, like, physical interaction with somebody. It's like, hey, dude, come over, let's say like somebody's like, come over here and shake my hand. You're like, listen, dude, I got dermographism. I'm not allowed, you know, I'm allergic to human touch. So just leave me alone. All right. Back off. That could work. I bet you some people would be like, oh, I had no idea. Like, maybe, you know, let's get away. And you're just like, no, it's too painful. Leave me alone. That could get people to leave you alone. Right. Just kind of like, avoid people for a little bit. Just come up with this rare allergy. But then again, it's kind of a long shot to believe that anybody would really think you have that kind of thing. So I guess the best thing to do in that scenario is to wear a bunch of clothes. That would have to be the only way to do it. So you'd have to wear gloves everywhere. You would have to... I gotta tell you, people with dermographism must love the winter time. Because then you can wear like mittens, you can wear like a hat, a beanie to cover yourself up. You can wear like a hoodie and a bunch of like... You can wear a bunch of layers. And then you can like maybe go in for a hug or a high five and a handshake and whatnot, right? Without necessarily getting hurt, you know? You don't have to worry about that. Yeah, that's a workaround, right? Unlike water, where it's like if it snows and then it melts, it's still water. Though I imagine sports are a nightmare. And so is like summertime. You know, you can't you can't enjoy like going out or being places with people that might like have you can't go to concerts or like to big music festivals like imagine having dermographism at Coachella. Like, you know what I mean? You wouldn't survive. You would have to completely, avoid all of those scenarios. And that's, I don't go to those anyways, right? But I would like at least give me the option. So the last one, and this one's a big one. If you thought water and human touch was bad, wait till you learn about this one, okay? Solar urticaria. You are allergic to sunlight. Now, this is nuts. You can't even go outside. You're going to have to take vitamin D supplements for the rest of your life. How do you, I guess nighttime, in the nighttime, when the sun goes down, you'd have to work only at night. You can't ever work in the daytime. You would probably need, I don't know. I imagine you would need special sunglasses, right? You'd have to survive off, you'd have to get special sunglasses to protect your eyes from the sun. You're already allergic. What happens, like, when you're allergic to, like, let's say when you're allergic to cats, your eyes get all itchy and watery, right? Let's say when you go outside and you're allergic to sunlight, what do you think is going to happen to your eyes? Your eyes are getting shot. So that way, the sunglasses are like a necessity. You need sunglasses in order to survive. And not only sunglasses, you need to cover yourself up. So on top of dermographism, right? So dermographism, you can kind of avoid it during the wintertime. You can put on some gloves. You can put on a long sleeve shirt, whatever, right? In this scenario, it's hot outside. The sun is out. And even if you, on a cloudy day or during the nighttime, there's still a little bit of suspicion, a little bit of fear that the sun is going to come up and then, I mean, what do you do in that moment? There's definitely no child that could ever survive with solar urticaria. Like, that is just crazy. Imagine going to night school as a kid. Obviously, if you're an adult, you do that, that's fine. But I'm talking about kids. Like, let's say you're 8 years old and you have to go to night school just so that way you could be a normal, you can learn and be a normal kid. Like, what happens then? That is wild. These are allergies that are rare, obviously, but they have happened. They are out there. There are reported studies of this, and I just want to know, like, who was the first person to really get documented and to really like understand, because they had to survive to a certain point. So I imagine these are all livable. They're not crazy. So maybe with aquagenic urticaria, right, allergic to water, it's only, let's say it's only salt water. Like, if you go into the ocean, then it's bad, right? But if it's like purified and it's clean water, then you can like maybe shower or you can drink water, you know what I mean? Like, as long as it's clean, it's not just out there all dirty, right? And maybe with dermographism, it's not, maybe it's not so much like a big puffy, can't breathe, all of a sudden, like you have to stab yourself with an EpiPen kind of allergy. Maybe it's just like a couple of hives, just a few of them. And then with solar urticaria, it's like maybe you're more prone to sunburns, or you get a little bit itchy when you go outside, right? It's not like a sudden sudden death when you go outside and you encounter the sun. You know what I mean? Now, I say all of these allergies just to kind of be like, a little sneezing, a little coughing, and a little itchiness doesn't kill you. What'll, and it's something that I can get over, right? I can just be like, man, this sucks. But like, what else would suck? If you were allergic to water, if you were allergic to human touch, if you were allergic to sunlight, that would be rough. And those are that's what I think about when I'm like, gosh, I hate being, my allergies are acting up, or they're not letting me live, right? Or they're coming out of nowhere, and I don't like it. And then during those moments, I'm kind of like, take it easy, all right? You're gonna survive, all right? Just keep moving forward, And that's what all I was trying to think about. So, in the end, when you're trying to survive your allergies, just remember, just know that in the end, you could be allergic to sunlight. That could be where your head is at. But it's not. You're living a good life, okay? All you got is a little sneeze, a little runny nose, a little cough here and there, some itchy eyes and watery eyes. You can make it through. You can survive. So, thank you guys so much for listening. I wish you all nothing but the best. And thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for subscribing to the YouTube channel. It means so much to me. And I'll see you guys all next time. Thank you.